So, this is gonna be a quick video. I already made a post about it. Yesterday night, one of the first nights I've been out that late. Me and Telly, we went out. We went to the supermarket place that he knows. The owner knows him, and he knows the owner. The owner's Turkish, and he knows Turkish too. So they got along, and because Homeboy had connections, I was able to get a free soda out of it, which was rather nice. I mean, technically, I got two free sodas because he paid for one of them, but he and I both got free sodas because the owner knew him. So that was pretty cool. And then we went back and we drove into town, and I'd say mainly because it was like a Friday night. There was like everybody was on the street. Mostly people my age, which was nice, our age, because him and I are basically the same age. And I remember like we would drive past these bars and there was just throngs of people just waiting to get in. We even got out of the car and milled around. And pretty much in every bar, right? Every bar, every club, it always seems like bars, mixed with restaurants or just bars by themselves, right? You just see people like just clogging up all the tables and just TVs with hockey games playing. And, on one hand, it's really nice. Again, seeing people my age, seeing a lot of women. There were a lot of women. There were more women there in that one night than I think I've ever seen in my entire life in like one place. Um, I obviously don't need to go into the how they were dressed because you can kind of expect how they looked. Again, bars, clubs. What do you think? YouTube, please don't strike me for this. I'm implying things. I'm not directly saying it, so stop getting mad. I fucking hate the stupid algorithm sometimes. I don't like, because my last two channels were struck because I was apparently a little insulting. And I was like, oh, you can't say that. And it's just like, apparently I can't, but someone else can say something even more outrageous and post a clip and they're fine. It's like, what the fuck kind of rules are these? Anyways, so it was pretty nice. Me and Telly just kind of stood around, just watching the crowds, watching everybody do their thing. And, there'd be tables full of guys or tables full of girls or guys and girls together. Or, we saw these two dudes. They were just drunk. They were fucking plastered, just dancing around singing. It's just like, come on, man. You look like an idiot. I mean, you do kind of get used to that at these places though, because those guys did not care at all. Like they're just like spinning around in circles, just shouting and just trying to sing some like really crappy, like it was just totally off tune melody, but everybody else just went about with their day. Um, the only disadvantage, obviously, is that it was just so crowded. There were just so many people, so much noise. They also had music on in the background that it wasn't really that appealing. And I did talk to Telly with this about, talk to Telly about this. Like even if we were able to get one of these girls home, right? We were able to bring her, to our house or our car or just hang around or whatever. Like most likely, you'd get like one date, you talk with them once and then they never talk to you again. Like immediately the next morning they ghost you or something. Because half of them, they're probably not looking for anybody. And if they are looking for anybody and they don't like you, they'll pull out the whole boyfriend line. Or they just want to get hammered because I don't know, that's why you go to bars and stuff, right? Um, so there was that. And Telly is a lot better looking than I am. He's more fit. He's, you know, decent in terms of looks. He's got dough. He's a high tier normie, as we in the loser community would call it. So, he's doing pretty well, and you know, he was at least still smart enough to be like, yeah, no, these guys won't work. Um, it was very nice. I kind of got a little hype from it, especially because once you spend like so long just sitting in your room by yourself, and you can't do anything, you can't go anywhere, and then suddenly you see this, your brain just overloads, and it's like, holy crap. I was thinking of talking to some of them, but honestly, I would have made a fool of myself. And there were just a bunch of other guys around, especially just Chad Lights. I don't know the scale for Chad Light and Chad, but there were a bunch of Chad Lights, um, around, and it's just like, yeah, I don't want to look like an idiot. So, and again, like I said, I talked with like some of them for like 5 seconds, and they just lose interest and go back to yapping about whatever and trying to get in so they can dunk like 3 whiskeys in 5 seconds. And obviously the last part I want to focus on, right? Everybody drinking, everybody, watching hockey on the TVs. It's called bread and circuses for a reason. You keep the masses, especially the young people, you keep them sedated with cheap entertainment. Well, you slowly destroy their way of life and transition towards a digital totalitarian, dictatorship, basically. Those are two of the most effective things ever. You get people hooked on substances, which is alcohol. Alcohol is one of the substances which we don't consider that poisonous, or at least it's legally and widely accepted. And sports, which essentially hijacks human tribalism. Oh, my team against your team and stuff like that. So there will never be any change. There will never be any change. There'll never be any revolutions. Nothing is going to come of any protests or movements or whatever the hell people are into nowadays to try and resist, quote unquote. We're all just going to drink and watch our favorite team beat the other one, and yeah, that's what people my age are doing. Just consume and stuff and pretend it's all okay. Or live in a bubble and not realize it's bad too. Still, it was nice. So, Telly, thanks, man. And thanks for being around, bro. I owe you one. But yeah, what's your experience been at bars and stuff? Like, you wanna share? I guess.